Hi everyone, Ann Rosen here with Keller Williams in Chicago. Let me ask you this. Have you ever walked into a home and thought, wow, this is stunning, but something just didn't add up? Today, I want to talk about something that most buyers don't realize until it's too late, how to spot an over-improved home. And if you're buying in Chicago, whether it's Lincoln Park, Edison Park, Lakeview, or the suburbs, this really matters. So what do I mean by over-improved? An over-improved home is when a seller has upgraded the property beyond the value of what the neighborhood can support in value. In other words, a house is dressed for the Gold Coast, but it's priced in a neighborhood that simply won't pay for those upgrades. Now here's the thing, improvements aren't bad. Updated kitchens, love them. Finished basements, great in Chicago winters. Heated floors, yes please. But the question isn't, is it beautiful? The better question is, does the neighborhood support it? Because here's what tends to happen. You walk into a $950,000 home in an area where most homes sell for $700,000 to $750,000. It has imported marble, a wine cellar, a luxury spa bathroom, and custom cabinetry everywhere. And you think, this feels like a deal. But what would happen if you needed to sell in 5 years? Would the next buyer in that neighborhood pay a premium for those same features, or would they compare it with the $750,000 homes nearby? That's where buyers can get stuck. In Chicago, appraisals are heavily influenced by nearby comparable sales. So even if the finishes are top tier, the value ceiling in the neighborhood still applies. And here's something else to think about. Who is the typical buyer in that neighborhood? Are they young professionals, growing families, investors? Because if the upgrades don't match what the typical buyer values, you may not see the return. For example, a luxury chef's kitchen with commercial grade appliances sounds amazing. But if your buyers in that area prioritize extra bedrooms, yard space, or parking, the money poured into that kitchen might not move the needle. So how do you spot it? Here are 3 simple signs. 1. The home's price is significantly higher than nearby recent sales. Not just a little higher, but noticeably outside the range. It's worth asking, what are buyers actually paying for homes like this around here? 2. The finishes feel dramatically different from the rest of the block. If every other home is modestly updated and this one feels like a luxury downtown condo, pause for a second. 3. The seller clearly customized it for themselves. Highly specific taste, ultra personal design, niche upgrades. Now, I'm not saying don't buy it, I'm saying buy it with clarity. Because if you're buying your forever home and you love it, that's different. But if resale value matters, and for most Chicago buyers it does, then we need to think one step ahead. And here's the good news. When you work with an advisor who understands micro neighborhood pricing in Chicago, you can position yourself smartly. Sometimes that means negotiating differently. Sometimes it means structuring your offer strategically. And sometimes, and this is important, it means walking away. Because just because something is beautiful doesn't automatically mean it's a smart investment. So before you fall in love with the finishes, let's ask the better question. How will the next buyer see this? That one shift in thinking can protect tens of thousands of dollars. If you're buying in Chicago and want to make sure you're not overpaying for over improvements, let's talk. I'd love to help you make a decision that you feel comfortable about, not just today, but in 5 years from now. I'm Ann Rosen, and in this market, strategy beats emotion every time.